All right, Chris Sona, CEO of Preeminent Recruitment here, and just making you a short video, something really special for you that you're going to find incredibly useful if you're in a job search and struggling to find the right job, or entering a confidential search where you're going to be trying to find the job you want with your hands tied behind your back. There's going to be tons of strategies here that you can implement and help you find the job of your dreams. Now, I made this video, or I made a version of this video for a friend of mine, for one of their relatives. And in making the video, I realized, wow, that was extremely powerful. It's going to be helpful for her relative. And then I realized, you know what? Maybe I should just make it and make one and share it with everybody so that they too could have job search success and get to where they want to go. Now, at the very end, I will share with you how you could potentially work with us. But this is not a sales pitch. This is actually going to be informational packed and something incredibly useful for you. So to dive in, we're going to talk about the major components of every job search and how to set yourself up for success in each and every area. So the first thing we need to discuss is getting noticed. Right now, this is the number one issue that most people are facing. And it's a symptom, but it's not necessarily the root cause, which we're going to talk more about with LinkedIn and with your resume and with your interviewing. But getting noticed is extremely complex right now. And there's a couple of reasons why. Reason number one is the average job listing online sees anywhere from 100 to 200 applications. Now, imagine yourself being an HR business partner working within an organization, receiving 100 to 200 applications for a job you listed within a singular month. How much time would you give with all your other responsibilities to look at the positions, look at the applications, and decide if every single person is a perfect match? You wouldn't have much time. And that is why it's about 13 seconds from the time an application reaches the hand of a hiring manager or HR representative before they make the decision if they should interview this person or not. And 92% of the time, they decide no, which means only 8% of the time an application yields an interview, which means on average, just a gross average, if you submit 100 applications, you will only see about 8 interviews. Those aren't very good odds, especially when you're applying for jobs that you're actually interested in, right? Now, there's another issue too. And the second issue is that when the pandemic started, there was tons of furloughs and layoffs. Many of those were felt hardest in operations and human resources because they are not revenue drivers. Sales, marketing, things of those nature, those positions remained relatively safe. But operations seemed like an unnecessary expense for most companies. And when they did away with it, they increased responsibilities on the present HR personnel or talent personnel, and realized that they could just pressure those people into doing more work while not relieving that pressure by hiring more people, and it's never fully come back. And so HR operations remains completely overburdened, which is just bad news for you if you're applying for jobs hoping to hear back and hoping for someone to give your resume a clear look. So getting noticed is one of the hardest things. Now, there's a couple of things you can do to get noticed. Number one, instead of just submitting applications online, what you should do is also go to the company's Facebook page or social media pages on any platform and drop them a message. Now, most companies have a marketing outsourcing team or an internal marketer who runs their social media pages. So with knowing that, you send them a message specific to that person and say, hey, I noticed that your team is listing this job online. I don't know if this is directly your responsibility, but I have all of the perfect experience. Would you mind referring my resume to the person who needs to see it? Or could you please pass along that person's contact information? If you do that enough times, you'll start getting some results. So you do that, coupling it with submitting an application. In addition to that, some old school tactics do come back into favor because no one else is doing them. For example, calling. Picking up the phone and calling the company and saying, hey, I'd love to speak with somebody about XYZ job. Anybody older than the millennial generation knows this is a very effective way to get what you want in life. It's challenging, it's complex, it's stressful. It's much easier just to submit an application, but it doesn't mean it's better. Sometimes what's necessary is at odds with what you want to do, right? All right, so after you do that, then the next approach would be to use LinkedIn. Now, before we talk about how to use LinkedIn, we need to talk about how to optimize your LinkedIn profile, right? And so your LinkedIn profile is very simple. All you have to do is make sure you have a cover photo of some sort. You don't want to leave your cover photo blank. That's the photo in the background behind your main picture. Just put something there. You can use one of LinkedIn's, just don't use the generic original one, just so it looks more professional. Have a picture of yourself highlighting specifically your face, ideally smiling, but stoic is okay too. Then you go down to the About Me, you hit the pencil, and you can write this in third person or first person. Some people like to put third person like a recommendation. I like to write mine in first person personally because I just like to write and talk about myself and not write in third person because I find it odd and complex to do. Then you must have a headline, which is actually right below your profile picture. So that's before the About Me actually. And you just put open to new opportunities, hyphen, what you're looking for or what you bring to the table. Then you go to the experience and education section and you just copy your resume, which we're going to talk about next. It's very simple. Don't overcomplicate this. And then all you have to do, and in another video, I can talk much longer about this, or if you work with us, we go in depth about this, but you just go in the search bar, search for the company you're looking for, find the people that you want to contact, connect with them and send them a personal message with some specific wording that we give to the people that work with us. It's that simple, right? And if you do these things on a consistent basis, you could see how you'd get more interviews. But you have to do something first. You have to get that resume right. And getting the resume right is relatively simple. All you need to do is have it clean and concise. Name at the top, where you live, ideally. Some people don't like to put that. I think you should. You should put your contact information, email and phone number. And then you lead with your number one strength. For some people, that's education. So you lead with education. If experience is your number one strength, lead with experience. It should all be aligned with dates to the left or to the right. The job title, bolded or underlined or some way standing out. All caps, bolded or underlined or somehow standing out is the company you worked for. And then a plethora of bullet points per position, 5 to 7. Talking about your soft skills, the skills you acquired, specific data, things of that nature. It's quite simple. So that's the resume in a nutshell. There's a lot more we could go into there and unpack, but I want to keep this video short and succinct. And just that basic information I gave you would make your resume better than most. Okay, so after we figured out how to get noticed, we sent the resume, we did the LinkedIn. Now it's time to set yourself up for the interview. My best advice for you when it comes to interviewing is twofold. One, forget preparing for questions that you're going to answer and start preparing questions to ask the employers. When you start thinking about interviews as you interviewing them, not them interviewing you, your success in interviews will go up dramatically. The less you talk during an interview because you've asked so many questions, good questions, the more likely you are to stand out and get the job. I have helped thousands of people prepare and set themselves up for interviews. And the successful ones were all open to listening to this advice. Put them on their heels in a conversational type of way, and you will find yourself with far more job offers. It's that simple. Don't stress about the questions they're going to ask you or anything like that. Part number 2 is do a ton of research on the person that's interviewing you and the company you're interviewing with, because imagine the power of walking into an interview, looking them square in the face and saying, hey, I saw the blog you wrote about XYZ. It was super informative and I liked XYZ. Imagine how taken aback that person would be that you did that kind of research and homework to tell them that. Do you think they're going to think of you as a dependable, interesting person to work with? Someone that's going to be a self-starter who learns, as opposed to the person who sits down at the interview and they ask, why should we choose you? Well, I'm a self-starter. I do my own research and I do this, that, and the other thing, and you have nothing to show for it. You just seem like a liar, right? As opposed to you said, listen, I am a self-learner. For example, before this interview, I over-prepared perhaps, looked up the blogs you wrote, found one particularly interesting, and now you have a commonality, and now you've actually proven that you do those types of things. So I hope you found all of this useful. And as promised, I told you at the end, I would tell you about working with us, and I got something super incredible for you. Normally, we charge upwards of $2,000, anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000, depending for running specials for our Done With You job search, where we help you set up your resume, set up your LinkedIn. We share with you modules and training specific to you of how to get noticed, how to reach out to the companies you're interested in, how to connect with them. We give you the exact wording to reach out on LinkedIn, Facebook, everywhere. We show you how to do it, and we set you up to land your dream job. But for the first 100 people, I think we'll put the cap on the first 100 just because this is going to be a tough thing to manage because there's only a few of us and many of you, and I want to work with everybody in the first 100 personally. Not any of my teammates, not any of our employees or contractors, me. And so what we're going to do is we are going to do most of what we do in our Done With You job search, which I'll explain in a minute, for you, for the same price that people pay just to get their resume formatted by us. That's $497. And if you have an issue with paying $497 because you're a little bit tight on cash, you can pay it in 5 installments of $100 each. So it'll be $500. I just decided to do that. That's something we haven't normally done, and you won't be able to do that on this page. You'll have to send us an email about that directly. But $497 is the price. And what we'll do is we'll start by helping you define what you're looking for. So I'll send you a series of questions that will help you narrow down what you really want out of your next job. Then I'll request that you send me the resume. Once you send me the resume, I'll go through, restructure it, reformat it for you, and then write in everything that you should add. All you need to do is write over the red writing that I'm going to put in with exactly what you have done and what's relevant to you. It's very simple, very straightforward. Then you have a perfect resume. After we do the resume, I'm going to ask you to put together a list of 10 to 20 jobs that you're most interested in that you find online. I'll show you the best places to look for jobs online because too many people are using major job boards, which they don't know is actually hurting them because a lot of those jobs are already closed. Once you find 10 to 20 jobs you're looking for, I'll show you how to reach out to those specific companies to connect with them. And I'll do this over video, and I'll show you how to find the people, the contacts there on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and give you the exact messaging to send. Once we do that, you can start implementing that. I'll tell you how many reach outs you should probably do a day for optimizations purposes. Once you get an interview, me and you will hop on a 15-minute call and prepare you for the interview. Okay? Once we have the interview done, once you actually get an offer rather, or 2 or 3 or 4, I'll then send you a short training relevant to you again on how to negotiate compensation without jeopardizing the job. And that's only going to be necessary if you feel like you should negotiate, which you just have to let me know, right? So it's that simple. Like I said, $497. And as a caveat to make this a no-brainer for you, 1, this is less than your monthly grocery bill. I don't know about you, but we try to be minimalist and we spend $650 a month on groceries for 3 people. So this is less than your monthly grocery bill. It can impact your career. It can impact you for the rest of your life. And everything I'm going to teach you will be timeless. So you'll never need to buy anything from anybody again when it comes to this. And it's $497. And if you don't feel like you're getting the value that you want, deserve, or need from me in this program, simply ask us for a refund. You can keep everything we already sent to you, and we will refund you in a timely manner. No questions asked. So I hope you take me up on this. It's going to be impactful for you in your life. All you have to do is follow the directions below, and we can get going on this. I wish you the best. I hope you found this useful, and I hope that you and I get the chance to work together, okay? Thanks so much.